There are 4 main stages of a home service business, and 90% of the people get stuck in the first 2 stages. Now, the thing is, if you don't know what stage you're in and you don't know how to get out of it, you'll be stuck at the same revenue constantly and never grow. I know this because I've been building my remote local cleaning business for about 13 years, and it currently does over $100,000 in monthly recurring revenue, and I work on it about 5 hours per week. But I've gotten stuck at every single one of these stages for way too long. We now have about 40 franchise locations that made this, and I teach all of them these exact same phases and tell them exactly how to break through the different stages, because if you don't, you're going to be stuck forever. So in this video here today, I'm actually going to break down every single stage, what to expect, how to get out of it, and break down exactly what you need to grow your business to the next level. Now, I'm going to use the example of a cleaning business because that's what I have, but the truth is this applies for any home service business. Let's get to it. Phase 1 is what I call the grind phase. Now, imagine you're about to climb a mountain. You've never climbed a mountain before. You're getting ready, you got your boots on, you're ready to go. The first bit of that hike is going to be tough. Why? Because you don't know what you're doing. You've never actually hiked before. You need a break in your boots. Everything is a little bit tougher. Like, this is a brand new thing for you. It's going to be rough. That's why I call this section the grind phase. The grind phase is, in the cleaning industry, at least at $0 to $10,000 per month in revenue phase. That's the grind phase. I think this is one of the hardest stages because it's kind of like an avalanche of new information coming to you. You know, you're trying to grow, you need to invest money, you need to invest time. Maybe you have a 9 to 5, so it's hard to get that time. You get a little bit of the traction and then you lose traction. It's very motivating and demotivating at the same time. The way I think about this is you have to get out of the grind stage as fast as possible because every day you're in your business, typically your motivation wanes a little by little by little by little. And the way to increase your motivation, from what I found, is simply to grow. So imagine this, if every day your motivation is going down just by 1% every single day, and you're not growing your business because you tell yourself, well, it's okay, I'll take my time. At some point, your motivation will go down so much and you haven't gotten out of grind phase that you're just going to close your business. I see this story all the time. It is so imperatively important to get out of grind phase as fast as you can because this is where your motivation could wane the most. This phase is tough because it's kind of a chicken and egg problem. If you're in the home service business, there's really only 2 problems to deal with. How do I get customers? How do I get cleaners? These are the only 2 problems you have. Now, at the beginning, you don't have either of them. You might get a cleaner and say, sick, I got a cleaner, or I got a window washing tech, or mobile pet groomer, whatever industry you're in. How do I get customers to keep that person busy? And vice versa. You might get a customer and be like, oh crap, I need to get labor now. And it's a chicken and egg problem. This is really only a problem during the grind phase, and over time, you start to get a little bit better at balancing it. The truth is the labor problem never really goes away, but it becomes a lot easier than that weird chicken and egg problem in the grind phase. The key to getting out of grind phase is quite simple, is you need to get momentum. And what I mean by that is you typically need an avalanche of leads quickly. So I want you to focus all your effort on just getting more business. Cut whatever deals you need to with customers, do jobs for cheaper, just overperform on the jobs. What I tell my franchisees is this: aim to get 30 jobs per month as the goal. So 1 per day is the goal you want to get to as fast as possible. You're gonna have to overspend on money. You're gonna be inefficient with your leads because you probably don't know how to sell people well yet. You're gonna have to go out in the community, build relationships, do whatever, but get as scrappy as you can in that first 30 days, and you're gonna be able to get out of the grind phase faster than anyone else. But focus on lead gen at this point. Overspend, don't go slow during this section. The next phase you get to once you hit 10K is you enter what I call no man's land phase. Now imagine you're hiking, and I did the Everest Base Camp hike a while ago. The first part was rough, but I kind of figured it out. It felt good. The next days were coming about, and this was the same for me for no man's land phase. There's a very steep climb up the hill. It was rainy. I was drenched. I hated it. All I wanted to do was go back. And think about it this way. If I was on that mountain in the rain on a very steep incline and I stopped, what would have happened? I probably would have been like, okay, I'm stopping here. I'm getting tired day by day. It's rainy, it's cold, I'm going to start to slide down. And that's the exact same thing in business. When you're in no man's land phase, imagine you're on a very steep incline and it's raining. There's sunshine on this side, that's where it is, and it levels out a little bit. Your goal is to get to that level out point as fast as possible because you will lose motivation the longer you're in no man's land phase. No man's land phase, I call it this way because typically you kind of know what you're doing at this point. You know the sales script. You have some sales, you felt like you just went through a grind to get here, and things are starting to happen. But then you look at your main account and you're like, wait a second, why am I not making that much money in profit yet? Typically, no man's land faces $10,000 to $30,000 per month in revenue. And the reason is, let's say you're around $15,000 per month in revenue. You still have fixed costs. So even though your revenue has gone up compared to before, let's say you're making 5 to 10% profit after all the things considered, you're still not making that much money for your effort. The truth is you have to grow faster because profit margins are better over there, and you're making more money because as a percent of revenue's higher, all that kind of good stuff. So the key is to get out of grind phase as fast as possible. And here's exactly how you can do that. Number one, you need to focus on repeat customers at this point. Now this kind of varies depending on what your business model is. If you're a roofing business and you're in no man's land phase, it's not like you go back to the same customers and be like, hey dude, you need a new roof. But for many low ticket items, pet grooming, mobile car washing, house cleaning, these people need a cleaning again. Usually by the time you've gone into no man's land phase, you have a database of a lot of your old customers, your old leads. One thing you have to do is to go back to those leads and resell them properly. Get them on recurring plans, rebook them aggressively, just get really freaking good at milking the database. That's one way to grow your business that doesn't require just spending more money on Google Ads. Typically at this point, you're going to have a labor problem, meaning your main bottleneck for growth is having enough technicians and labor. Now, at every different phase of business, you need to spend more money and reinvent the way you do things. At the beginning, you might have said, well, I could throw up a free Indeed job ad and I'm completely fine. I have enough leads coming in. Things are good. If you tried to do the exact same thing in no man's land phase, it's not going to work. So you need to go back to your recruiting system and say, am I getting enough leads for recruiting? Do I need to spend more money? Do I need to go out and find people myself and do outbound? But typically the bottleneck at this point is going to be on the recruiting side. One thing I've always told our franchisees when they're in no man's land phase is profit margins get better as you go. And this is not the time to reap the rewards of your money. A lot of times people come here and say, hey, I just want to finally make some money. I'm going to stop here. What I always tell franchisees is life gets better at $30,000 and above. Life begins at $30,000 and above. That's when the real money starts to come into play. So don't pause here. Like this is the fool's gold. Get to the other side of no man's land phase, and that's where the real magic happens. This will require pretty much what you're doing in grind phase, but with a little bit more knowledge and a little bit more push. So you're still investing a lot of money into marketing. You're still investing money into recruiting. You probably have hired 1 or 2 remote team members at this time to help you grow faster, but you just have to do more of what you're doing consistently. Typically, this area is where a lot of people take their eye off the prize because they're getting a little bit tired. I'm telling you, things get a lot better when you get to 30,000 and above. Now, this next phase is kind of fun. I call this phase the rewards phase. This is that $30,000 to $50,000 per month in revenue range. Now, one thing I do want to note is the actual dollar amount kind of varies depending what industry you're in. For an industry like roofing, where maybe it's a $10,000 average ticket, this isn't as relevant. The stages are still the same. The numbers just differ slightly. Now, if you're watching this and you're either in the cleaning industry, you want to get involved in another home service industry, which is lower ticket, let's say $500 or less for the average ticket, these numbers are pretty accurate. But I just want to caveat that every home service industry is slightly different. Now, the rewards phase I love because this is when you get a real taste of freedom and the money. Typically, not always, but typically the bigger your business is, the better your profit margins become. So imagine, if you were doing barely any profit margin at 10K, maybe some profit margin at 20K, now you're at 50K and you're doing 15% profit margin or 20% profit margin. That's meaningful money now. And that's what this phase can bring. So this is the phase where you can start to take out more money. You kind of know what you're doing well. You've hired a couple team members. You're still working in the business, so the business is still kind of dependent on you. This is not a passive income play by any means, but it's going somewhere. You have momentum. You can see the light at the end of the tunnel. Things are going really well. This is the rewards phase. A lot of businesses stop in the rewards phase because they're making good money. Things are going well. They kind of have a well-paying job. They have a lot of freedom. They don't need to work 50 hours a week anymore. They could decrease their time to 25 hours or 30 hours. They have a team in place. The truth is they get stuck here because they get complacent. Now, there's a couple of things you need to do to tweak it to get to the next phase, which is even more fun. The biggest thing to do with this phase is invest in your internal team. Now, typically you probably have hired VAs or a couple of VAs at the first couple of phases. Many times by the time you get here, you need to hire more people or replace the older people. You've maybe outgrown them, but they haven't grown with the company. So at this point, you're gonna have to retool the team and reinvest in the team. It's going to require a little bit of pain because you have to teach someone new certain things. You have to add more people. You have to do certain things. But this is necessary to get ready for the next stage of growth. So typically, I see most people at this point reinvent the wheel when it comes to their team members. And that's okay. That's what you should do because you're getting ready to scale. Most of my franchisees at this point have team members in 2 main categories. It's going to be either operations or sales. It's not always like this. Some of them have generalists, but typically you're going to have, let's say, one person in operations or 2 people in operations. operations and 1 or 2 people in sales. Normally, the way we teach it from a tactical level is you have one person on each side on from Sunday to Thursday, and the other 2 people on from Tuesday to Saturday. So they kind of straddle it if you're open 7 days a week. This is great because you have a lot of redundancies there, and you're not liable for everything. You're still going to help out with scheduling, you'll still help out with certain big sales, but at least they're running more of the operations for you, and you have the platform to grow to the next stage. The next stage is awesome. I call this the growth stage. This is around $50,000 to $100,000 per month in revenue. Now, I call it the growth stage because growth could happen really freaking fast in this stage. Think about it this way. You have a repeatable system to get new leads coming in because you've been doing this for a while. You have a whole database of leads that you've called before or customers who booked with you, which you could repeat and book again. You have a team member infrastructure if you set this up correctly to be able to add more cleaners or technicians, add more customers, and have them grow and compound. Things are set up for success. So all you got to do is keep running the model and things will automatically grow pretty fast from $20,000 to $100,000. Typically, at least in the cleaning industry, the biggest problem I see for people during this phase is they lose sight of the main thing which drove their business, which is recurring customers. So churn might be higher than you think at this point. Typically, the owner at this point has to get re-involved and look at what is the actual churn rate and why, what's going on with the cleaner quality or the technician quality and why, and start fixing those issues. Normally, the bottleneck at this point is mostly going to be around capacity. Do you have enough labor to service the demand you're actually getting? So a big focus to get from 50 to 100 is cracking the labor piece and doubling down on that, doubling down on figuring out how to maintain your recurring customers. If you just solve those 2 things, normally you're going to see yourself going from 50 to 100,000 pretty quickly. This phase is also pretty awesome because you're making way more money than before. And normally if you set up things properly, you could actually take some real time off. You don't have to be glued to the computer all the time. You can sign off at 2 p.m. if you want. Your team will handle stuff. You're probably still heavily involved in the business, but it's not 100% dependent on you. You have a real team in place. And that's what's beautiful about this phase is you get real freedom to live a life in the way you want. Now, $100,000 per month and beyond, I just call this the freedom stage. Everyone's freedom journey is a little bit different. What they want out of the business is different. Some people want to get to 100K, put in team members, get involved in the business like 5 hours a week and just coast. Some people want to jump from 100 to 200K. This is everyone's freedom journey, and everyone's freedom journey is different at this point. But at $100,000 per month in revenue, your life has changed. Your family's life has changed. Things happen really fast as well, and you can make a lot of agile moves at this stage because you know what you're doing in business. Now, my goal in franchising and my goal with Made This is to help people get through each of the phases as fast as humanly possible. When I started my business, I didn't know what I was doing. Our first year, we did, I think, $17,000 in revenue. My second year of business, we did $87,000 in the entire year in revenue. Now, franchisees are absolutely lapping me because they're able to use all the tools and resources and learn from all the mistakes to grow faster so they could bust through the grind phase and get to the freedom phase as fast as possible. Now, if you just want the cheat code, if you look at all of us and say, hey, I don't want to figure it out myself, Neil, can you just tell me how to do this? Check out Made This franchise. It's a fully remote cleaning franchise. We've mapped out each of these phases for you to help you get through them as fast as possible. So check out the link below. Again, it's madethisfranchise.com.